Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy ACL Official, and today I'm out in New York taking a closer look at the 375 showroom. To give you a bit of context, 375 is an exclusive high fashion showroom with direct links to the new Guards Group, and this allows them to offer products from brands such as Off-White, Palm Angels and Marcelo Bellon out to 60% off the retail price. Literally everything here is considerably under retail, and because of the amount of people this attracts, they run the showroom on an appointment only basis. Clientele ranges from the average person who just wants to pick up some deals to higher profile individuals such as French Montana and Michael Rainey Jr. Anyway, in today's video, the founder @Z from the Galaxy shows us around his showroom, and I also sit down with him for a brief interview that will allow you to get to know him better.
What's up guys, this is Z from the Galaxy, aka Z from 375, and this is a 375 showroom, only high-end urban showroom in North America.
And they hoping I fail though, I'm not gonna be seen, I stay on the D-Lo. She watched from above and I know that she loved me, I'm trying to find my way back to me.
The first piece upon entrance of the 375 showroom is a display hand-painted by our friend and supporter Resurrect by Night. Designer, customizer, hand painter, currently sold out in Barney's and selling out in 7 stores in Japan. We felt like it was a perfect aesthetic for all the accessories that we present of all the new Guards Group brands. The next section we're gonna have is a Bente Verniti Unrivaled project. We felt like aesthetic definitely fits it, as it's like a little rock star feel to it. A lot of distress going on. It's both women's and men's apparel we got here, and obviously the bottoms and the jackets. And then up next we got the multiples that we have for the Off-White women's. We got the current and previous seasons, and we mix it up with we mixed up with pretty interesting pieces, whether it's like a dresses, then we got the heavier pieces like the leather pants, up to crazy bomber coats and jackets. And then we go to a jeans section right here, then we got the different jeans, and then right behind we go to the jackets. Right now it's a fall season, so we present a lot of female jackets. And then we slowly get into a Palm Angels section, which is more like a unisex at the moment. So we do have a men's pieces as well as women's pieces all mixed up in here. And then we go straight to a Palm Angel bottoms and much more heavier pieces, whether it's a velour track jackets, chenille track pants, shorts, and jeans. Then we go to this section right here in the cubicle, so we got multiple t-shirts, and we got some accessories and the shoes of different brands, of new Guards Group brands, on top of it. In the middle rack, we always like to mix up and maybe bring like our own curation of different brands, whether it's Versace, Fendi, Gucci, whatever we feel like during each season. And then we'll go further where we got more heavier pieces as hoodies, knit wear, which Off-White also produces. Lots of people don't know that Off-White actually got a knitwear and pants. And then we go to much more Off-White shoes. Right now we got the Dr. Martens Off-White collab, which was originally released in Japan. And it comes up to long coats and the puffer jackets. It's all finished up with an extra display right here. Also, different vibes, different season. Right now we got like little Birkin bags and a little Gucci and Chanel of the current season.
Feelings different ways in different ways. Pop 2 pills to make the pain go away, go away. Down memory lane.
Got a little warehouse in the back, a little product photography going on, and we got some samples. We got some samples from the first Off-White collection ever, Meadow Heights 2015. Yes sir.
Alright, cool. So I'm sitting down with Z from 375 Showroom right now. Obviously, I've done a bit of background to the company. I've showed you guys, we've taken you around the room, so you've seen what's good. Now we're going to chat to the guy himself, and you guys can just get to know him a bit more, how he started, you know, just get a better feel for like what the company's like, what the showroom's like itself. So yeah, they know about the showroom. Do you want to give them a brief introduction to yourself?
Yes, I'm Z from 375, aka Z from the Galaxy on Instagram. I came up with a high-end fashion background, originally with a music background. I got into high-end fashion company through my contact list. And from there, I've been just focused on high-end urban brands, whether it started with the 11 by BBS, Boris Bedian Saberi, Silent by Demir Dama, Yoshi Yamamoto, Margiela, and it goes up to where I'm at now with the New Guards Group.
Yeah. And in total, how long do you reckon? So when you first got into the fashion industry, what year would you say that was in?
I would say that was about 3 years ago, 2015. At that time, I used to manage in the music industry, some Grammy-winning artists, and at that time, I needed more stability, and I wanted to find myself at that time. I was a young cat, 24,
Yeah.
and I was lucky enough to shift successfully into a fashion industry.
Okay, cool. So a lot of the people who actually follow me, they're passionate about the industry. They want to actually get involved themselves. So for people like that, like obviously you started a couple years ago, made your way through. How did you actually get your break to starting like the pop-up and 375?
Well, that was also another shift that I did within my fashion industry experience, when I was going from a retail experience into a sample sales to a pop-up. In New York, I was lucky enough to caught a wave with the success of the sample sales and the whole liquidation for big companies here in New York.
Yeah.
And that's how I started my own brand, 375, in the Midtown Manhattan. Usually that location is not popular for sample sales, and that's what I got famous for. I got famous for having destination spot sample sale where I don't chase customers, customers come to me.
Yeah.
And I know my customers in person.
Okay. So for the people who aren't really like very familiar with the sample sales and the kind of culture out here in New York, could you go into that a bit more? Just talk about the whole.
Well, a lot of mainstream fashion companies received lots of media attention, including this year. For instance, I would say like a lot of accusations of Burberry burning a lot of their leftover stock from the previous seasons. In order for them not to end up in the outlets. Now the company, as I've read in the articles, the company is willing to actually keep all these items rather than burning because of all the media outlash. And I would say here in New York, the fashion in the fashion capital of the United States, lots of companies use a sample sales and a sample sale outlets in order to liquidate their leftover stock from whether it's previous seasons, whether it's runway samples, to archival samples. And you'll be surprised by the amount of sample sales we have and by what kind of brands, up to high-end brands, up to niche brands like La Perla, be liquidating their stock.
Yeah. So after the kind of sample sale stage, so that's eventually developed into the pop-ups, into what you have today, which is the showroom. So a lot of the guys that follow me actually already know that it's appointment only. We've got a very kind of niche set of clients that come through. What was the thinking behind that, and not just opening it to like the public just whenever?
Well, when I was doing sample sales from my own experience, when I did my first pop-up ever, I ended up having 9-hour line on my opening day.
Yeah, so crazy.
And I still got some media and videos of that specific day. It was March 12th actually in 2016.
Yeah.
And that basically led me to lots of attention. Lots of people who are like just working in the Midtown, let's say, and passing by, and they see a big line standing outside, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" And there's like, "Oh, the sample sale." They have a previous season, like Off-White, like they got a previous seasons, and obviously everything is discounted.
Yeah.
So most of the part for me is like the most important part is liquidation, obviously, and then curation of the best collection for all the fashion fans, just like me myself.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. And so with early pop-ups, even with the sample sales, to be honest, were the products always New Guards Group related?
So that was another wave that I caught simultaneously with the sample sale experience. Basically, I started receiving the New Guards leftovers, let's say at the end of 2015, and they were established originally in 2014. That's when first Marcelo Burlon collection came out. At that time, I was receiving predominantly Marcelo Burlon, County of Milan. I was receiving HBA. At that time, there was something.
Yeah, that was hot.
Now they actually dropped it last year.
Yeah.
Dropped it last year because Shane Oliver, I heard that he's too busy with the Helmut Link and his own branding. And Palm Angels, that was the first round also at that time. and received like a little bit of white hoodies. And at that time, I didn't even know who Virgil Abloh was,
Right.
in all the full details.
Yeah.
And at that time, even if you're gonna take a look, from my own observation, if you're gonna take a look of all the early Virgil Abloh's interviews, all of the comments regarding his designs were negative. Everybody were saying that no, he ain't got no talent, or et cetera, et cetera. So there was a lot of negative media outtake on the Off-White as a brand. When I first heard about it, Off-White directly, they told me that it might not last more than 2 years. And so with the success of Nike collaboration, I believe in 2016, we actually ended up having one of the top 3 hottest brands in the world at the moment.
So at the time when you took on Off-White, were they, obviously they weren't as hot, but did you actually have an option to pick between like the brands you wanted, or because you were working with New Guards Group, they gave you like a list of brands that you actually just had to, like, they gave you everything, you had to use these?
Well, New Guards Group is a multi-brand entity.
Yeah.
And me, as a New Guards Group liquidator, I am obligated to receive all of the brands.
Everything, okay.
Including upcoming brand of Heron Preston at the moment.
Yeah.
That's going to be my next drop at the end of, hopefully for the next pop-up at the end of December. And as we see right now, New Guards Group just signed 2 other brands. I also got Unrivaled Project, Ben Serenity, which was a pretty successful run last year. And I hope it's gonna keep expanding. And as I'm getting all of these brands, obviously, I feel like 375 Showroom have this ability of supplying all kind of customers.
Right.
Whether they're more edgy with Unrivaled Project, Ben Serenity, or they want more like a hype kind of items, whether it's like a brand like an Off-White. And as you see in some items, we actually have pretty wide selection.
Yeah. Okay. And then another question which was quite popular. So I put a story out on IG yesterday. Got some people to send some questions through. One of them was, so you obviously got the New Guards Group product here.
Yes.
So Palm Angels, as we've said, Off-White. Is there scope for like other brands?
Of course. So with the whole liquidation part, just having a reputation as myself as a successful liquidator and as a, let's say, like a high class elite liquidator, I had a chance of getting my hands on pretty popular brands. Let's say like last pop-up, I was successful to get some Amiri pieces, ERD, Mastermind Adidas collaboration.
Right.
And obviously I'm selling them lower than retail, which is mind-blowing for a lot of people. But yes, I can acquire them, but usually I acquire them only for a pop-up, and that's when my part of curation actually comes in. Obviously, I'm a manager and founder and runner of the whole showroom operation. But at the same time, when it comes to a pop-up, that's when I step out and I visit a lot of different archive. I visit a lot of different different places and warehouses, and I take a look at their collections, and I can see where I can actually maximize my sales and provide the best curation for all of the clientele I have.
Yeah.
Because I'm not only having New Guards Group fans as my customer list, they're also fans of big high-end urban brands like Fear of God. Rick Owens is pretty popular. It's pretty popular, I would say, in the past 3-4 years, and sales have been pretty high. And a lot of upcoming brands, obviously, whatever I can get.
Yeah.
Obviously, current seasons and sometimes previous seasons, whatever can satisfy my customers.
Right. Okay. Cool. And then another thing which I find interesting myself is how New York in itself, like there's a lot of kind of, I find the culture very, like people are into their fashion a lot around here.
Yes.
Similar back home in London as well. But what I was going to ask was, the industry is quite competitive. So coming up in a time where I suppose opportunities were available, like sample sales, your pop-ups and stuff like that, how did you manage to like keep the, kind of just beat the competition effectively and grow?
Well, I would say my reputation is super underground. So a lot of, let's say, a lot of our client base come actually from word of mouth.
Right.
And just us being active, because honestly, the part of the culture is the most overrated word in New York right now at the moment, in my opinion. So So people don't understand that the part of the culture is actually more than just selling the hot stuff. It's also actually being in front of the people.
Yeah.
So we go to sneaker conventions, we go to festivals, we got to make sure that we are out there and people know that we're out there. And then that's how we actually get our outreach. And most of the times people just come to us and they already heard about us, and they're
Right.
coming for the first time. They're surprised to see all of this curation out here.
Yeah.
And
So I guess they know you already. So it means you don't even have as much to do. Like you haven't got to start from the beginning with your whole marketing because people know about you already.
exactly, and that's what I've been known for here in New York at least. And I'm definitely willing to expand. Hopefully, this upcoming pop-up is gonna be on the West Coast for the first time ever.
Right.
New York is much more known for the sample sales rather than West Coast. So I would like to bring like a little bit piece of New York out there and show them what we actually do out here in New York
Yeah.
on the East Coast.
Another big kind of thing that I think brings the showroom a lot of attention is the clientele that come through.
Yes.
For the people watching back home, just to get to know you and the showroom a bit more, do you want to talk a bit about that?
So yes, that's where the whole part of the 375 showroom members only part came in. Because originally when I was doing sample sales, I was mostly focused on exposure. And at some point I got so many VIP customers, so rather than focus on exposure, I decided to focus on exclusivity and actually giving my clientele a private time. Just to name a few, I had Jonathan Cheban, for instance, super
Right.
mega star, food god,
Yeah.
coming to my showroom and just coming in and shopping and no cameras, no extra. He was super excited because they can just come in, it's in Brooklyn, they can park up, no cameras involved, shop in here, talk to us, maybe even grab a lunch with us here. We can order food. We actually had a little lunch here, and then he actually shopped, and that's what we're
Nice.
actually more focused on. And that's why we're not like other companies focusing on posting pictures with celebrities, because I do have them on my phone. But for me, what's more important is my following list. If you guys follow me, most likely you guys gonna see celebrities coming in almost every day through my stories.
Right.
And that's where exclusivity part comes in. You follow me, you know that I have this clientele. And even when people set up an appointments, we do have it, but not often, but we do have a mashups between appointments. And sometimes we have just kids who are like fans of Off-White and New Guards Group coming in at the same time as celebrities, and they'd be surprised. They'd be like, oh, but then at the same time, you understand that whenever you come here, it's your personal shopping time. Our main business is a wholesale and distribution. So I actually, most of the times our clientele knows what we do, and they're super appreciative for me just stepping out and giving them a couple of minutes just to introduce myself, show the place, explain curation, show different styles, and maybe find their own new ID, That's what we focus on.
Okay. And then in terms of actually booking these appointments, so we know it's members only, you need to book appointments.
Yes.
How would someone go about doing that?
That's a great question, because lots of people ask, especially new followers, they've been messaging me, they were like, hey, how do I become a member? For me, just to start up as a members only, I believe that if you follow me, if you know what I'm doing, you're a member. So for me, anybody following me and just messaging me is still, I'll respond myself personally. I also got a couple assistants that do walk-ins in person, and also we can take care of certain clientele who are out of New York also with the personal shopping. We do appointments via online. Last pop-up, I dedicated about 3-4 days just personal shopping through Instagram.
Right,
Lots of people were writing to me, hey, I couldn't fly out and make it to a pop-up. I had about 10 people flying out from different states just on the opening day. And I actually accommodated them.
Right,
Taking them to dinner, all that stuff, giving them exclusive. And that's why 3 days out of each pop-up, I do simply Instagram shopping. I show them what do I have in the store, I book an appointments, we can dedicate about half an hour, and then we ship it out.
Yeah.
Pretty much simple. And we're super down to earth, we're underground, and that's what I like about our company, to be honest. I believe that our company with our client base is actually what I wanted to represent from the most beginning. Basically, everybody who is following us, feel free to write me a message, even just asking some questions. I have a lot of fashion students actually writing me messages, asking me different kind of questions. It's kind of like an interview, just like we're doing right now. And it's totally fine. I respond. I'm more than everybody more than welcome asking me any kind of questions on Instagram, and I'll be able to answer them. Yes.
Cool. And where can they hit you up? Like your page? You want to shout your app?
375 Showroom Instagram right now. DM is super easy. I actually see every single direct message is coming to me. During the pop-ups, it's a little bit much more busier. During the pop-ups, actually, it was ridiculous. After the opening day, I checked my phone and I had about 165 unread messages.
Yeah.
But at the bottom of it, while I came home, I went through every single message and responded to them in person.
Yeah, so everyone will definitely hear back from you. So yeah, guys, if you're interested, you want to come through, you're around in New York, definitely get in touch with them. One of the big questions though is pricing. So people obviously love a bargain.
Yes.
In terms of getting things below retail price,
Yes.
or you're kind of you don't need to go into too much depth, but what are the kind of price ranges people are looking at?
So I do get current seasons and I get previous seasons and I do get collaborations. Right now it's a big wave of collaborations and I get a lot of collaboration pieces. And most of the times will depend on collaboration. It will be from 30 to about 50% of the retail. Obviously the previous seasons I can do much more better, so I can do from 65 to 75% of the retail.
Right, yeah.
Also depend on the brand, depends on the season. Most of the times, obviously my full-time job is to keep up with the market, see the competitors' prices, and provide the lowest prices.
Yeah.
Also, I got a lot of wholesale customers, a lot of people who come up from different communities and they're actually willing to show love, do shopping themselves and end up buying more than just for one person. And obviously, we can always renegotiate price.
Okay, cool. So for someone like that who wants to kind of come through, buy some stuff, and actually maybe even set up their own shop and start reselling.
Yes.
Like for me personally, like a lot of the guys who hit me up on IG, they ask me that a lot. They're interested in getting this stuff below retail and being able to ship it. So if they come to you, for example, what could they? You don't need to go into crazy depth, but what kind of things could they expect? Like, do they need to be buying huge amounts? Do they need to be buying?
Currently, I supply about 15 different countries.
Okay.
I have a pretty wide experience in the customs. I would say I was even dealing with I had a chance to deal with the most customs competing places like Israel and Germany.
Right.
They're super tough on the customs, and actually I can help with logistics in terms of transport, in terms of like customs and shipping, and I do a precise estimate. I can take care of any store, whether they're focused on the niche brands or much more higher up brands, or they're mostly, we do women's apparel, men's apparel, we do have shoes, and I believe that our showroom can provide all kind of different concept stores, and that's why I actually want to focus on, from now on, mostly focus on concept stores all over the world, and show them love.
Okay. And moving on, I guess, what do you think the future holds for 375? What are you guys trying to do? What are the goals per se?
Yeah, the high-end fashion moves in a different waves. What's hot today might not be hot next year, and honestly, that's what I want 375 Showroom SB to be adjustable, because we love all of the brands. We're open to all of the brands, whether it's like niche brands or upper brands. The streetwear is another common word in New York. And honestly, in the future, I want to be the most exclusive liquidator. Whether you're a hot company, want to hit me up and be like, hey, listen, we got a lot of leftover stock from the last season, and you want to liquidate it nicely and make sure that it's going to get to the right hands, like celebrities and sports people, managers, executives. Basically, we're ready to share our customer list with anybody, any brand that's interested in liquidating their designer brands, as long as it makes sense.
Right. And then, okay, so cool. Before we wrap up, do you want to just shout out your IG pages, your personal one, your business one?
So we have 375 Showroom. That's our main IG. Feel free to follow. Hopefully, Gonna be doing another pop-up in LA soon, so that means giveaways are coming again. Last year we had successfully gave away Supreme Louis Vuitton hoodie, which was a big thing. Yeah, it was crazy. The kid was super happy. He was actually from Los Angeles. Received the hoodie in the box and the packaging. He couldn't believe it. I was like, listen, man, don't resell that as long as you're wearing it. He sent me pictures of him wearing it and everything, and he was super happy. Super appreciated, and hopefully we're gonna come up with another amazing exclusive giveaways. Another, my personal IG is @Z from the Galaxy. If you're actually studying fashion, or if you want to get into a fashion industry, you can ask me personal questions. And also my assistant, DannyKH_. That's another Instagram account that basically my assistant who accepts appointments, personal shopping, and styling, and basic walk-ins. So feel free to reach out to us directly. We're open-minded, we're down to earth, and we're humble. So that's our brand.
All right, well, once again, appreciate you coming through, appreciate you taking the time out. It's been a pleasure sitting down with you.
Thank you for coming through. Amazing.
Cool. And yeah, I'll wrap this up.
Thank you, guys.